We've lost thousands of dollars developing real estate, and you don't have to. In this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 mistakes that I've made when underwriting deals that will save you on your next project. Mistake number 1, we bought lots of houses without a home inspection. I know you're buying houses right now, you're getting them from a wholesaler, they want to close quickly, you have very little time, they want money up front. I get it, I've had the pressure on. And you know that if you don't say yes and you don't close on time, then they're either not going to call you back or the deal's going to slip through your fingers. I'm going to tell you a story about a deal that we purchased that went bad, all because we skipped that step of the home inspection. So we bought a property that was an older property, but it was in a great neighborhood, and we were going to do a significant renovation on it. So when I walked the property, it was full of stuff. The guy had lived there for 50 years, and he had never moved anything out. We're buying it as is. Now, we were planning such a major renovation that I didn't think that I would uncover something that my budget wasn't prepared to handle. But when we started, when we moved all the things out, the floor starts feeling spongy. I've ran into spongy floors before. Add a drop girder here, sister a couple of joists. No, this is like something you've never seen. It was like a cartoon. When we got in the crawl space and we finally had the crawl space cleared out, we found termite damage like you've only heard stories of. The whole front of the house was completely gone. It's amazing the floor was still standing. We had to tear out the whole front of the house and completely rebuild it. It was so bad that it completely changed the numbers, and no longer could this deal be sold for a profit. Instead, it had to be held as a rental. You see, you're going to have a temptation to want to rush to close to get the deal and get started. But there are things hiding in crawl spaces and hiding in attics that you may not find and may be waiting to kill your deal. My advice, pay the due diligence, get it under contract quick, but schedule a home inspector to go into those places that you either can't or won't get into. Mistake number 2 that you'll make when you buy property, especially if you're buying off-market land, is to buy a piece of property without a survey. We bought plenty of properties without surveys. They were straightforward infill lots, seemed like it was a slam dunk, until we ran into a property where we underwrote the deal to put 2 houses on it, maybe 3. Little did we know that this odd-shaped lot had lost part of the front to a right-of-way take. The GIS showed that the lot was much bigger than it now was. Just months prior, the city had taken more of the front of the property to the right-of-way, and the GIS had not been updated. Now, when we purchased the property, everything seemed straightforward. We had more space than we needed. What could go wrong? Until the survey came back and left only enough space to build 1 house and not 2 or even 3. You need to get a survey before you close on your properties. Mistake number 3 is I didn't know or understand the infill standards of a municipality we were building in. So we bought a house in a new town that we had never developed in. It was a neighboring town. And the plan was we were going to knock the house down, subdivide this larger lot, and put 3 row houses on there. Seemed straightforward to us. There was plenty enough space for it. Now, this deal went bad not because of a right-of-way take, but because we didn't understand the infill standards. I made a call to the planning department. I asked them about what could be done in this. But what I didn't realize is the person that answered the phone was a junior level planner who didn't know the infill standards themselves. It wasn't until we purchased the property, scheduled an official pre-submittal meeting with the planning department, that we learned that the infill standard of all lots in this little town required rear loaded lots, which means we would have to have an alleyway to service the houses. You could not have driveways accessed on the main road. Here's the catch. There was no alleyway. We were being asked to rear load or create an alleyway to a house that had no alley. There's no alleyway on the property and no way to rear load this. So instead of being able to subdivide and build 3 there, we were only able to build 2, and that was just because, dumb luck, this house sat on what was originally platted as a double lot. And so we inherited 2 lots, but we couldn't have 3. And so we lost money. That was one less property, one less house that we could build to make money. Mistake number 4, not knowing the buffers or easements on a property. Easements and buffers can completely kill your property and completely kill the buildable area on your property. Now, if you're developing property in Durham, North Carolina, the interesting thing is the GIS often won't show the streams that could be a problem on the property. You have to find a map layer that is a soils map from 1983 that is showing a very faint dotted line that's almost hard to decipher. And this is showing where a potential stream could be. So we got a couple lots under contract. There were houses all around. Seemed like a slam dunk, no problem. And when we went to permitting, it got flagged, hey, there's a stream that runs across this property and you can't build here. Now, lucky for us, we were able to do a stream determination and prove to the city that there wasn't a stream there. But had there been a stream, then one of the 4 houses we were going to be building wouldn't have been able to build there. Now, it turned out that everything worked out fine for us, but that was a mistake we made on the front end. We should have known what the city was looking for and the map layer on the GIS that they were going to be evaluating the property against. And we should have found this out before we put it under contract. Next time you put a piece of property under contract, you need to be clear about what the buildable area is, and that's affected by stream buffers and by utility easements. And you need to know that before you close. Mistake number 5, and this one is costly. Does your property have access to water and sewer or septic and well? It seems like this should be the easiest thing, and this should be a no-brainer. Houses on all sides have water and sewer. We're in the middle of the city limits. What could go wrong? Until we bought a house with an extra large lot, we demolished the house, we subdivided into 4 lots, we built all these properties. The city GIS even showed water and sewer on the street until we went to install the water and sewer tap. And what do you know? The sewer came to the edge of our lot, came to the other edge, did not connect. Amazing. Seemed like a pretty flat street. Turns out we were at the crest of a street in town, and the sewer did not connect. It ran both directions. So now we have a house built that has no access to water and sewer. We got quotes to extend the sewer. We were only going to need to extend it for about 40 feet, and the prices were coming in at $70,000 to extend the sewer where we could access it. Now, it took threats of lawsuits to the city and pestering them day and night to get them to see that the information that they provided us on the front end showing that there was sewer, that they had some culpability. And in the end, the city helped, played ball, and installed the sewer tap for us. But you can never guarantee that there's water and sewer available unless you take time to do your due diligence. And on the other side of that, if you're in a rural area where there's septic and well, it's the biggest mistake you can make is assume that you can put septic on that property. We found a choice lot just outside of city limits. There are multi-million-dollar homes along this rural road, really close to a lake. They were selling a mobile home that already had well and septic. Seemed like a slam dunk to us. pull the mobile home out, build a brand new multi-million-dollar home. Everybody makes a lot of money. Until when the mobile home's pulled out and we looked at the septic system to design a system large enough for this 5-bedroom home we plan to build, and the soil scientist said, there is no septic. This is completely homemade. And the soil here cannot bear a septic system. So now we've got a lot that isn't a candidate for a traditional septic or an engineered septic. She said the best we can do is use a brand new technology that will be a $70,000 septic system. You can't assume that you have access to water and sewer or that you can put a septic system on your lot. Even if there was one already there, you need, in your due diligence and in your underwriting, you need to have someone look at that septic, look at the water and sewer to verify that you have the access. Now listen, there's many more mistakes that we've made that's lost us money. That's part of any business. You have to learn. You learn through your mistakes. Some of them are costly. Now to us, all of these mistakes, the thousands of dollars of losses, have just been investments into our business and into our career, and we're the builders and developers that we are now because of these mistakes. And the same will be for you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to run into things that you didn't have planned, and some of it's going to cost you real money. But as long as you don't give up, you don't have to lose. Instead, you can choose to learn. Now, hopefully you've taken notes from this video and you don't have to learn these mistakes. Hopefully you can apply the learning that you learned here and use the stupid tax that we paid to help you in your next projects. But don't be discouraged. You just keep learning. You just keep moving forward. And now you'll know and see the things you need to evaluate your next deal and be successful.